You think this is a game? You lied to me on my plane.
We didn't mean
Don't
to.
even start. You two put everyone at risk.
Vivian, maybe we should...
Stay out of this, Lila. They need to
We were
hear
just
me.
trying to help
Help?
Honest.
You near...
Don't touch me! The little girl's voice cracked through the cabin, followed by the sharp sound of a slap, gasps, silence. All eyes turned toward the white woman standing over two black children, her face twisted with indignation. The twins trembled, tears streaking their cheeks, whispering just one chilling sentence. "Mom is coming." Moments later, the cabin door opened. Heels clicked. A badge gleamed under the overhead lights. CEO. And that's when everyone realized who these children truly belonged to. This is the story of prejudice, power, and poetic justice. Comment your city below if you're watching. It was supposed to be a special day, the kind of day 12-year-old Maya and Malik would remember forever. Their mother, Denise Carter, had promised them an unforgettable trip, a weekend getaway to celebrate their top grades and the long hours she'd spent balancing boardrooms and bedtime stories. As the CEO of a major airline, Denise rarely had time to breathe, let alone take a vacation. But today she did. The twins, bright-eyed and curious, had boarded the plane before her, escorted by a flight attendant who recognized them immediately. They took their seats in first class, seats their mother had personally arranged. To them, it was magical. The wide leather chairs, the hum of the engines, the soft glow of morning light through the oval windows. It was more than comfort. It was pride. A rare glimpse into the world their mother had built from nothing. Around them, the other passengers settled in, business travelers typing on laptops, couples sipping champagne, the quiet murmur of pre-flight chatter. Everything seemed calm, almost perfect, until one pair of eyes lingered too long. A woman, dressed in a crisp white blouse and designer scarf, frowned as she noticed the two black children seated alone in first class. Her smile faltered, confusion replacing courtesy. She adjusted her pearl earrings, watching them with growing suspicion, her mind already forming assumptions she'd never dare say aloud. Not yet. The twins didn't notice. They were too busy marveling at the sky outside, at the thought of flying so high their dreams could touch the clouds. But the calm that filled the cabin was about to shatter. What began as a routine flight would soon turn into a storm of prejudice, humiliation, and a shocking twist no one on board would ever forget. Because before takeoff, injustice would take its seat. The engines hummed softly, a low vibration running through the cabin as flight attendants prepared for takeoff. Maya and Malik adjusted their seatbelts, their excitement bubbling beneath shy smiles. They whispered about the clouds they'd soon be flying through, their voices light, innocent. To them, this was an adventure. To one passenger, it was something else entirely. The woman in the white blouse kept staring. Her lips tightened as if each second she watched was another offense. Finally, she leaned toward the nearest attendant, her voice sharp, just loud enough for others to hear. "There must be a mistake," she said. "These children, shouldn't they be in economy?" The attendant blinked, taken aback. "No, ma'am. They're in the correct seats." But the woman wasn't satisfied. Her suspicion only deepened. She watched Maya pick up a magazine, Malik glance at the safety card, ordinary actions, yet somehow in her mind they didn't belong. She stood abruptly, heels clicking against the floor, and approached them. "You two," she snapped. "Who are you here with?" The twins froze. Malik's small voice trembled. "Our mom, she's—" "Don't lie to me," the woman cut in. "You can't afford this section." Her voice dripped with accusation. Her words drew glances, whispers, and a wave of silent discomfort. The flight attendant stepped closer. "Ma'am, please return to your seat." But the woman didn't. Her anger flared, fueled by entitlement and ignorance. She reached out, gripping Malik's arm. He flinched. Maya gasped, and before anyone could react, the sound of a slap cracked through the cabin. The world seemed to stop. Passengers froze mid-breath. Maya's cheeks stung red, her eyes wide with disbelief. Malik's small hand clutched his sister's as tears welled up. For a moment, no one moved. The flight attendant's hand shook as she reached for the intercom. A businessman nearby muttered under his breath but stayed glued to his seat. No one wanted to be the first to intervene. No one wanted to make it worse. The woman, breathing heavily, straightened her scarf as if nothing had happened. "They were out of place," she muttered coldly. "Someone needed to do something." The silence that followed was suffocating. Maya buried her face in her brother's shoulder. "Mom is coming," she whispered through her tears. The flight attendant, heart-pounding, called the captain. Word spread fast, a disturbance in first class. A child struck. A passenger refused to apologize. Minutes passed like hours until finally the cabin door slid open again. Heels clicked down the aisle. Measured, powerful, unmistakable. The woman turned to see who dared interrupt, and there she was, calm, composed, and carrying the weight of authority in every step. A gold badge gleamed on her chest. Denise Carter, CEO. The air grew colder. Conversation stopped. Everyone waited for the storm that was about to break. Denise's presence filled the cabin before she even spoke. Her eyes went straight to her children. Maya's tear-streaked face, Malik's trembling hands. A mother's instinct took over before the CEO did. She knelt beside them, brushing a thumb over the faint red mark on her daughter's cheek. The cabin fell silent, every eye on her. Then, slowly, she rose. The woman in white took a step back, suddenly unsure, her confidence cracking under the weight of realization. Denise's badge caught the light, Chief Executive Officer. Her voice, calm but firm, sliced through the still air. "Did you lay a hand on my child?" The woman stammered, her words tumbling over guilt and arrogance. I thought they didn't belong here. I didn't know." Denise's eyes never wavered. "You didn't ask. You assumed. And in your assumption, you hurt a child." Passengers shifted uncomfortably. Some lowered their heads. Others finally looked ashamed. Denise turned to the attendants. "Escort her off this plane immediately." The woman's protest dissolved into whispers as two attendants guided her away. Her face, once smug, was pale now, the color of consequence. Denise turned back to her twins, holding their hands tightly. "You do belong here," she said softly. "Never let anyone tell you otherwise." The engines roared to life once more, but this time the sound wasn't just the promise of flight. It was justice taking off. Dear audience, where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments. The flight resumed, but the air was forever changed. Passengers who had sat frozen in silence now exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of guilt pressing on their shoulders. Some whispered apologies to Denise. Others simply avoided her gaze, ashamed they hadn't spoken sooner. Denise sat quietly beside her twins, their small hands still wrapped around hers. The mark on Maya's cheek had faded, but the memory would not. She knew this moment would stay with them, not because of the cruelty they endured, but because of the strength they witnessed. When the plane landed, news had already spread. A passenger had filmed the confrontation, the slap, the silence, and the moment the CEO revealed who she was. Within hours, it went viral. The comments flooded in, outrage, disbelief, and solidarity. Some called for justice, others for reflection. And amid the noise, one truth echoed louder than all: prejudice hides in plain sight. Denise didn't relish the attention. She didn't need to. For her, the victory wasn't in headlines or hashtags. It was in showing her children that dignity is non-negotiable. That silence, in the face of injustice, is complicity. And that even when the world doubts your place, you stand taller, because belonging isn't granted by others. It's claimed by courage. How many times must stories like this unfold before humanity finally learns? If this story moved you, share it. And remember, justice begins when someone chooses to speak. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more powerful true stories.